Here's the irony of what I've seen today. One, both Ronald Reagan, who was a conservative Republican traditionally, was a globalist, and so is Biden. And whatever Reagan was dealing with Gorbachev, you still have that same setup here with Putin and the aggression towards Ukraine. Secondly, it's ironic that many of these issues that we're talking about on the international stage are coming home, are still domestic issues for Biden. That is the NAACP.
Yeah, so speaking of that,
young people.
Do you want the NAACP getting involved in Middle Eastern affairs? Do you want Hollywood stars like George Clooney getting involved in Middle Eastern affairs? Well, because they're pushing the White House and they're pushing the president.
They're pushing the White House because they and several other countries don't like how Israel has implemented the war. It's not that they don't stand with Israel.
I understand why, but should they?
Well, they've got a right to express their opinion. I don't think they're changing policy or driving policy on the international front, but they certainly can express their views and what their constituencies are telling them. This is all about Northern Virginia versus everybody else in Virginia.
Right.
Always
like New York.
Exactly. And so I think Aaron is right about this is a snapshot. Again, I think in the Democrats' theory on all of this is when they start to focus and they have two choices, right? And the get out the vote campaigns are in full thrust. That most of Americans are going to vote for Joe Biden over Donald Trump. If the Democrats don't have a huge turnout, right. Donald Trump's going to win this race. The prosecution at the end of their case always feels good, if you will, whether it's Trump or Hunter Biden. The defense has two questions to answer over the weekend. One, do they believe that the prosecution has proven their case beyond a reasonable doubt? This is a pretty straightforward case. I think they probably have. Secondly, does Hunter Biden testifying help or hurt, real or potentially, the defense in this case? Do they need him? Do they need him to get on and tell their story? Because he's going to be subject to cross-examination, and only Abby Lowell and his team can figure that out.
Okay, so you bring up Abby Lowell. That was the second question I was going to ask you. I have Scott Bolden sitting here. Scott Bolden, if you're arguing the case, you're advising Hunter Biden testify, yes or no?
If I advise, if I can prep him, right, for cross as well as direct, and there's some emotion behind it whereby he says, I didn't do this, I didn't check it off, and it was manipulated, then I'm probably 70% to 30% going to put him on, because I think he appeals, this drug addiction issue appeals to family, the family and emotional issues.
You mentioned Abby Lowell. You know Abby Lowell, I believe, right? Yeah. Abby Lowell is Hunter Biden's attorney. What do you think Abby Lowell will decide?
I can't predict that, but I do know this. Abby is one of the most aggressive criminal defense lawyers out there, but he is super smart too, and I think Hunter Biden is going to listen to him, because you remember 6 months to a year ago, Hunter Biden's strategy changed. Abby Lowell took it over, and they've been very, very aggressive. And remember what I said a few weeks ago, this case is being tried for the appellate court, because the appellate court is a great probability they're going to strike this down as being unconstitutional, that provision that you can't own a gun while if you're on drugs. And at the moment he filled that out, did he believe in his heart of hearts that he was a drug addict or not? He could answer that no, and that gets reversed, and he's more than within his right and the law and the jury instructions to be able to say that.